Good morning, everyone. In the previous class, we have started our discussion on universal asynchronous receiver transmitter. What is this UART is? In the universal asynchronous transmitter, what type of data transmission we can achieve is it is a serial data transmission, which is asynchronous. As I already said, asynchronous is nothing but there is no clock signal. It doesn't require a clock signal to initiate the data transfer from the sender or from the receiver. Then what is an agreement? There should be agreement, right, between the two sender and the receiver. Yes, there is a predefined agreement. What will be there in that agreement? The agreement is between the sender and receiver. These are the things they are going to define. One is what is the baud rate? How much data I'm going to send per second, number of bits per byte. Then the parity bit which you are going to attach to that. So many other parameters that will be there in the agreement. In that, the strict number it has to the transmitter and the receiver they has to follow. And whenever there is a during the data transfer, what will be there? There will be a start and stop bit in the communication data. There will be a start bit like 1, stop bit 0, and in between there will be a data. In that data also there will be a parity bit also, which will be used for error checking. If the some data is being received at the receiver, we have to check whether the same data which was sent by the sender. In order to do that, the parity bits are used. This is what the technology of UART, universal asynchronous. See all these names that you have seen on the microcontroller, that architecture you have seen in that diagram. This UART technology, serial peripheral interface, or any other interfaces. All these interfaces you have seen in that a single diagram. The different types of ROMs, the different types of buses, everything you have seen in a single diagram, which was explained by Arish V. Mekali. You can go through once again that diagram in slides which I have shared in the group. The next technology is, see this one wire interface, even this, it is on the onboard interface. Onboard interface means all this, it is on the board. You say why this many interfaces are required means, why these many interfaces means, as I already told, see if you want to connect the SD card to the laptop, if you want to connect SD card to the laptop, serial interface is required. Serial peripheral devices, the technology what we have discussed, that technology is required. It is based upon the devices that will be connected on the onboard, the different types of interface. It is not only a single interface that you are going to use on the board. It can be any types of interfaces. In that, one more is one wire interfaces. See, this one wire interface is also asynchronous, means there is no clock, but it is a half duplex, means one person can send at a time. Okay, when who has developed it, it was by Maxim Dallas company, that semiconductor company. Okay, which was called as Dallas one wire protocol. One wire means a single wire. How you can see, if you see this diagram, you see this diagram. It is clearly says that it is only a single wire. In this wire itself, a signal will be sent. In this power, in this itself, the data will also be sent. Okay, as in the single wire itself, both the power and also the data which are going to be sent. That is the main key feature of this one wire bus. Power will be sent along with the signal wire as well. But in order to send the signal, some power storing capacity is required, right? For that, there is an internal capacitor. Is the capacitor size is 800 picofarads. That much of charge it can store, 800 picofarad. That will be used to power up the device from the signal line. Okay. Can we connect one or more slave devices? Yes. As in the previous interfaces, it is a single master with one or more slave devices. But it is not multiple masters. It is a single master, but more number of slave devices. See here, a single, see here it is a microprocessor or a controller and so many slaves. Here it is two. You can connect any number of slaves. Okay. How exactly the data information exchange is going to happen? We'll say discuss step by step. First, the master is going to send the reset pulse. Now we are going to discuss about communication between the master and slaves. Okay. Now, okay. This before we discuss this, we should know the how to identify the slave. In order to identify the slave, there is an identification number which is of 64-bit. See, this slave, each slave that will be identified with some number. That number, that ID, that we are going to call a 64-bit identification number. See this, that is stored within it. Every devices which it is going to be connected, which has 64-bit identification. If we divide that 64-bit in that 8-bit, it indicates family code. 48-bit is a serial number of the device, and also the 8-bit CRC, cyclic redundancy check. I think this you are going to study in detail in the data communication CRC, or you might have already know about this cyclic redundancy check. Okay, it is just once again like a parity technology error checking. In that same way, this CRC is also a technology for error checking. This all these bits, some operation will be done like a cyclic redundancy check, and you will get finally 8 bits. That also will be there. That is called a 64-bit identification number. That is this slaves. That is this slaves. The devices which you are going to connect. Each devices which will be a 64-bit identification number is there now. Now, master has to send the data. What is the first step? Master will send the reset pulse. Reset pulse. Reset means whether they'll send RESET reset. No, it is a equivalent binary signal that will be sent. Okay, that will reach all the slaves. They will respond with the presence signal, presence pulse. What it indicates, we are this many devices, we are 10 devices, and we are ready to receive. If the master, if it gets presence pulse means, it indicates that these many slaves devices are ready to receive the data. Okay, now master knows how many slaves devices are there because it has received 10 devices, 10 presence pulse. Now the master device will send the data. Send the data. What data? First it is address, because it has to identify the slave. It will send 64-bit address. With the command, it is going to send 64-bit address. Which address? In which slave it is want to communicate, that slave address it will be sent for the initiation of the communication. Okay. After that, what happens? The master device will start sending read and write commands to read it from the internal memory or the register of the slave devices. If the devices contains the internal memory, or if it contains the register, with that the master device will start communicating read and write functions. Whether it is only this much, no, it can initiate the data transfer also, and also the slave can also send. It is not only the master will send the data, even the slave will also send. Reset pulse, presence pulse, then send the address, then start the communication. These are the main steps. Always the slave cannot start. If I want to send some data to the some slave, it wants to send the data to the master. It cannot initiate. Always the master should start to communication. And also here, it is all in terms of time. The communication, it is all in terms of time. See, they say that it is divided into the time slots of 60 microsecond. See, in order to send the reset pulse, in order to send the reset pulse, uh, from a master to the slaves, it occupies 8 time slots. 8 time slots is nothing but one time slot is 60 microsecond. In order to reach all the reset pulse to all the devices, it takes 480 microseconds. Okay, whenever it sends the reset pulse, what the master will do is it pulls the one wire bus to low. Means pulls in a one wire bus means that 480 microseconds, that 480 microseconds, you cannot do any other things. The data will be low. That bus contains low signal. In that way, there are so many other time duration they have discussed. See, the slave devices responds with the presence pulse for the minimum of one time slots. See, in order to send a presence pulse for the slave, it requires only one time slot, 60 microsecond. For reset pulse, it takes 480 microsecond. Okay, they have given very big number because so many slave devices will be there. That device it has to reach all the uh, slaves. That is why they have kept more time. Okay. Once again, there is a discussion on time. How much time slots will be kept in order to read the data from slave device? It is from minimum 1 to maximum 15 microseconds. To writing a bit of 1 on the one wire bus, time duration is 1 to 15 microseconds. Until that time, the masters or the slaves, they will hold the bus. They will hold the bus. They will write the word called pull the bus or they hold the bus because the other devices, they should not do the communication. That is what the control operation that will be done in the background. Okay. This is all about the one wire interface. The next one, which is called as the fastest parallel transfer, data transfer, which is called as parallel interface. See, this parallel interface for what purpose we use is to communicate once again the peripheral devices. But here the peripheral, the parallel interfaces support is there means inside the control of the devices there will be a memory to store. These peripheral devices which are always memory mapped. That is you have to remember. They are called as memory mapped. Okay. See the host processor or the controller of the embedded system will always contain the parallel bus. See, I'll show the diagram. Parallel bus. See, there is a separate bus for data. There is a separate bus for address. And also, you can see some x 0 to x minus 1, 0 to y minus 1, which indicates it is a bus width. It can be 4-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit, 64 bits. Okay. This is what actually you see on the board now, parallel interfaces. The different address buses, different data buses. This technology is also there in your laptop, parallel interface. Okay. See, in order to, there are separate devices that supports only these parallel interfaces. If there is no support for parallel interfaces, you cannot connect the devices at all. This, see here, the example they have given is A to D converters. This A to D converter or D to A converters, which supports only parallel interfaces. On your board, there will be A to D or D to A converters will be there. Okay, those, if it is going to connect to the motherboard, means parallel interface is only required. Using the parallel bus technology, it will be connected to the board. In order to control the communication, there is a separate control signals are there. See here, there is a separate line, control signals. Control signals indicates I am doing the right operation. ಅವಾಗ ಈ ಲೈನ್ ಹೈ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Read operations ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, RD line high ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So separate control signals are there. Okay. Means this is an alternate for the clocks. In the previous technologies, what was there? Clocks was there to synchronize the data transfer. After that, asynchronous transfer. Asynchronous transfer means there is no clock, but some agreement is there between us. Based on that only we'll communicate. ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಸಿಂಕ್ರೊನೈಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Whatever the data request by the sender, that may receive after some time, or the data is not been aligned, so many problems is going to occur. Okay, that is why synchronization is required. ಈಗ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಒಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So it is just synchronized. We will wait for others to stop. Okay, some people are there, they are not going to listen also, they will start responding, but in the system it will not happen like that. Okay, everything should be synchronized. Now anyway, if the the processor, if it wants to send the data, it will initiate the write control signal. If it wants to read the data from the slaves, it sends the read signals. Everything, the direction of the data transfer also, whether it should come here or it should come this side, the direction of the data bus also, it will be controlled by this RD and WR. It is almost this this technology you have come across, the data bus, control bus, address bus. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರೋ ಅಂತದೆ. Previous interfaces that you have seen, that may be new to you. Okay, and there is an, as I already said, it is a memory mapped. These devices, the devices which we are going to connect, ADC, analog to digital converter, they are memory mapped. Memory mapped is nothing but inside the devices there will be a small memory. If there is a memory, then you should get an address to find the element in that memory. For that, there is a separate circuit, address decoder circuit. Okay, that address decoder circuit, it will help the device. See, when the address selected by the processor, it is within the range assigned for the devices. Okay, if it is in that range, then that decoder circuit, what it will do, it will activate that chip, and thereby the device become active. Inside the devices there will be a memory, right? In order to activate the chip, because you want to get the data from that location, in order to activate the chip, you have a separate circuit called decoder circuit. To the decoder circuit, who will give the address? The processor will give the address. The address that will be selected by the processor, if it is in that range, say here there is a communication, the address will be sent to the address decoder circuit. From there, inside the memory, inside the devices, there will be a memory. Inside that memory, a particular chip will be selected. Chip is nothing but on the mother, in the memory, a particular location. Then that data, it will be passed through the data bus. For that, it is a separate address decoder circuit. ಇದು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಚಿಪ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ, ಚಿಪ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡೇಟಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. This is what the parallel interface. See the speed, the parallel width. It can be 4-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. Now it is a 64-bit. Okay. This is what the parallel data communication. It offers the highest speed of data transfer. Now, till now, whatever we discussed, it is internal communication interface. Now we are moving towards the external communication interface. External means it is not on board. Outside you are going to see USB, what you connect, Wi-Fi technology, Bluetooth, infrared, GPRS, everything that is outside the onboard board. That is what external communication interface. How the system, the embedded system, it will communicate with the external world. Till now, whatever we discussed, it is on the onboard, on the board of the embedded system, how it will communicate. There is no concept of external world. Now it is external means external world means some other devices. In that, the first technology that we are going to discuss is this RS232, RS485. What is this number? Say some standard number they have chosen version. It is by the company. It is once again the serial communication interface, asynchronous. Asynchronous means there is no clock. Full duplex. Full duplex means at both the sides you can send the data at a time. Wired. It is not wireless technology, because why they are mentioning this is other technologies are there, right? Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, they are all wireless, right? That is why. This is one technology for serial communication. When this was developed, it was developed by the EA company during 1960s. It's almost UART communication signals, what we have discussed. The universal asynchronous, this one. Receiver transmitter, this one, UART. This technology they have used in this external communication interface. See, this RS232, it will extend the UART communication signals for external data communication. What special is there in the UART? There was a pre-agreement was there, right? That is what we have discussed, predefined agreement. That same technology, they use it in this RS232. This UART uses the transistor logic, TTL. The logic high corresponds to 1, logic low corresponds to 0 for bit transmission. Whereas the RS232 follows the EIA standard, Electronics Industrial Association standard for bit transmission. According to this EIA standard, what the logic 0 means, it's a voltage between +3 and 25 volts. And the logic 1 means -3 to 25 volts. See, this is what some of the students are asking a doubt. I think Parvati in the during the training program. Why always the logic 1 is 5 volts and the logic 0 is 0 volts? It is not exactly in that way. See, as the technology has improved, as the technology has improved, as they said, the +5 volts it has started from, sorry, logic high it has started from 25 volts. Now they are in 5 volts, 3 volts, 1 volt, 0.9 volts. See here, according to the EI standard, the logic 0 means +3 to 25 volts, in that range, any number. And logic 1 is between -3 to -25. Means the number it is not going to vary, but it is in that range. I am going to fix with +4 volts as 0 and -2 as logic 1. That is one standard. Okay. This is the voltage that is been indicated by the EIA, means Electronics Industries Association. They have followed this standard in their communication. They'll send a signal which is of +4 volts, that indicates 0. If there is a voltage of -2, that indicates 1. See, this is what the pins which uses this technology. 9-pin connectors or 25-pin connectors. You can see these type of connections in um, the whenever you connect your the screens or the projectors, this type of connections you have seen. See the pins here, 9 pins, DB9 pin or DB25 pins. If it is this type of connectors means DB9 or DB25 pins, then it follows RS232 signal technology. It is full duplex. Okay. The next technology is this USB. Okay. Okay. We'll discuss this USB. What is this USB? What is the version of USB 1.0, 2.0, 3.0? What is uh, the data transfer speed? What is the data transfer speed of the USB? Now in the USB 3, it is 4.5 GB per second. See this USB, it is a wired that you know. Can anyone guess how many devices you can connect to the single USB? It is 127. There will be a USB host inside the board where you can connect 127 devices when it was introduced in the 1995. I think you have heard about the Starbus technology. A single host will be there. All the other peripherals, it will be connected to this, the star type topology that will be followed inside this USB. So this is what somewhat interesting, this USB universal serial bus. Why? Because every day you are going to use these USBs to connect your mouse, to connect your keyboard, or the external storage devices, USB or printer. See, these are the different types of connectors are there. See, USB host is there in between. Peripheral 1, peripheral 2, peripheral 3. Everything are going to connect. Over 5. Everything is the star topology internally. What is the format of data exchange inside this is the USB transmits the data in packet format. There is a structure for the packet. There is a structure for the packet. Means first part there will be address. If it is a 64-bit packet ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ first part address ಇರುತ್ತೆ, next part data ಇರುತ್ತೆ, next part error checking ಗೆ parity ಇರುತ್ತೆ. There is some format. Packet ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತಕ್ಷಣ packet ಅಂತ ಇರಲ್ಲ. It is just a set of bits which has some format. Once again, the USB communication is the host initiated one. Okay, the host, there will be a host controller. The USB host contains the host controller, which is the responsible for controlling your data communication. For all the things, for packetizing, data formatting, everything, that host is responsible. ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಸ್ಲಾಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. From the outside, if you just go and see the USB, you will see some 4 slots. I'll say some 4 pins. You just open and see the USB pin. If you use the USB cable, maximum you can use up to 5 meters. That is the communication distance. It is a maximum communication distance that you can use. Maybe now the technology has improved, but see here, there are some connectors, different types of connectors are there. Type A, type B, type C. See, all these are USB itself. Type A, type B. This is also an USB. This is also an USB. This type of connector, see, type A, it will use for upstream connections, connection with the host. But type B, see, it is for downstream. Downstream is nothing but connecting with the slave devices. I think you have seen only a type A connectors. You have not seen this type B. That is why this may be new to you. Okay. Yeah, we always use this type A USB connectors in our desktop or the laptops. Okay, see, these are the 4 pins. There actually, please see, the USB pin ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ ನೋಡಿ white line four lines ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, four pins, they are called as four pins. One is carrier voltage, another one is ground. Okay, 5 volts ground, these are the two pins. Another two pins is carrier signal, the differential data carrier signal, which carries the data. Both the type A and type B connectors, both will have these four pins. If you see actually here, see this, there will be four pins. If you see the type B connectors also, there will be a four pin. But type C, see here, there are only three pins are there. Okay, this is what uh, the pin counts. It is a differential data carrier line. These two are responsible for data. This is for voltage power supply for the USB. Okay. Uh, if you say there will be a ground and power, they are dedicated for carrying the power. It can see, it can supply up to power up to 500 milliamps at 5 volts. This is what the uh, power information. Current, if we speak, it is 500 milliamps and at the 5 volts. For that reason, it is going to operate at the low power devices. That is why it has become so famous, USB. See, so if all the devices, if it operates at low power devices, it will become so famous. Even if you what manufacture any one device for the embedded system, the initial requirement is this one. It should operate at low power devices. If that is the case, then the success of becoming famous, or it is going to become famous, your device, it is more than 50%. Always the power is the first requirement. It should operate at low power. Okay. There are different types of data transfers are there. Using this USB, it supports different types of data transfer. If you connect the keyboard or the mouse, then that transfer we are going to call as interrupt transfer. Okay. That type of transfer we are going to call as interrupt transfer, where we are going to transfer only small amount of data. Most keyboards. In the real time, to send huge amount of data, for that we use a bulk transfer. In this bulk transfer, there will be error checking and correction. Error checking means whatever the data is being sent, a error technology will be there. There it is going to check once again whether the data which was sent by the sender, whether the same is been received here. After that only it is going to give it to the device. A printer, see, whenever you print, send the command in the printer, whenever it prints, if it misses any character, then you are not going to use that, right? And that is being connected by the USB. You can see the pin. During the data transfer, if there is a problem, then you are not going to use it. That is why they will use the error checking. But in case of asynchronous data transfer, even you can send the data in real time, but this error checking, retransmission of for a loss, there is no support. If that is like that type of data transfer, we are going to call as asynchronous data transfer. In order to send the configuration information, that type of transfer, that we are going to call it as a control transfer. These type of transfers which are being supported in the USB. See the speed. Now the latest devices, they support USB 3.0, which is of high speed 4.8 gigabits per second. In all your please, all if you buy a pen drives, check whether it is USB 2.0 or 3.0. If it is 3.0, it is more cost. If it is 1.0, it is very less. The cost is very less. If it is 2.0, somewhat more, and 3.0 means too much. A super speed, 4.8 gigabits per second. For all this, in order to develop the standards for USB communication, there is an USB.org organization is there that will control. Okay, this IEEE, all these things that we are going to discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.